Hey, what's up everyone? This is another video to add to a series of videos which I've been doing discussing strange occurrences, anomalies, or just unusual events or newsworthy events taking place in the world around us. So the first story: weather anomalies are spreading across this world. Coldest summer for 100 years in Queensland, Australia. Earliest ice formation in 71 years on the Han River, Seoul, South Korea. And 3.5 meters of snow in Germany. That's 11.5 feet of snow, as you can see here. And here's the link, which I will post links in the description below for a few of these articles. My micro cell tower is not working, so you'll probably notice no signal up there in the top right hand corner. We have to use a micro cell tower because we don't get signal. We have bad reception in this one particular spot where we live, so I have to use that. Of course, the Wi-Fi is fine, so that's good, but it's from a different company. It's from the local company. But more than, let's see if my device can start working. It's frozen here. That's the same pictures. Okay. More than one, those are the same, yeah, let's see. I want to make sure that those are the same pictures. Yeah, the ones I just showed. All right. More than 1.5 meters, that's 11.5 feet of snow accumulation were recorded on the Brocken, also known as the Brocksberg, the highest peak of the Harz mountain range, and also the highest peak of northern Germany, culminating at 1,141 meters, which is 3,743 feet. And those were the pictures that I just showed you. That's a lot of snow there. Apparently, the next event is actually good news for the next Winter Olympics, although they are still far away. After 5 days of extreme cold weather, ice is formed on the Han River in Seoul, South Korea, as you see here. This ice formation is the first on the river before December 15th in 71 years. Last time such a phenomenon occurred was on December 12th, 1946. And then you can read the rest there. And in Chile, or Chile, depending on how you pronounce it, aerial footage of a village buried under a deadly landslide. You can watch that video there, and the link opens to YouTube. The third largest wildfires in history right now are spreading across Southern California in the United States, and it's just 30% contained, so that's bad news there. So you can also select that video, and you'll open YouTube and play the video there. Another volcano is erupting, and if you open a link I'll share in my next video, or one of my future videos, about volcanic eruptions currently taking place in the world around us. There are a lot of volcanoes erupting right now. I would say it's in the hundreds, and someone shared a link with me in the description to one of my in the comment section to one of my videos that I previously did on strange occurrences taking place, and it was pretty astonishing. It was pretty large, the substantial number of volcanoes erupting right now around us. So I'll share that very soon, and I thank them for giving me the link. After hail and thunderstorms engulfed the United Arab Emirates and Oman yesterday, now impressive floods are engulfing the north of the country, as you'll see right there. You can select that YouTube video, and you will see the video on YouTube. Also, geologists discover an unknown meteorite impact crater in Scotland that could explain ancient volcanic activity across the North Atlantic. And there is the image shown on this article. Ah, the cell phone signal just came back, so that's good. Our micro tower's working again. In a geomagnetic unrest, a stream of solar wind is blowing around Earth faster than 600 kilometers or kilometers per second, causing intermittent G1 class geomagnetic storms from the sun. Now that is roughly over 325 miles per second, I believe. And as you might be aware of, when the sun releases these highly charged particles toward the Earth in what is known as coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, it releases these highly charged particles toward the Earth, and usually the magnetosphere takes care of the majority of them, the harmful particles, and the ozone layer does the rest of the work, but the magnetosphere is the protective magnetic layer around our planet, which protects us from these harmful rays, and according to scientific documents. And if you're fortunate enough to see them, which they show online, you'll also see here the images of the aurora borealis. Those highly charged particles that do make it to the Earth's atmosphere make for a beautiful display for sky watchers or anyone to be able to see, like us online, like we can see here. And they react with the Earth's aurora borealis, creating these beautiful northern and southern lights, like you see here. So the northern lights are a beautiful phenomenon that takes place from these ferocious storms from G5, G1, 3, 1, 2, and 3 geomagnetic storms. So they're beautiful. The occurrence that takes place from these storms is a beautiful thing. Now, the reaction they have on modern technology, on the other hand, can be devastating as far as GPS, satellites, internet, cell phone technology. All of that technology is disrupted. Back in the 1800s, I believe it was, we had a major outage in our telegraph system because of the EMF. Anything that used electromagnetic frequencies, such as the telegraph wires at the time, they were totally disrupted and shut off by this geomagnetic storm, this CME that hit the Earth at that time. So that sun blast, did devastate the system we had at the time, the telegraph wires and everything. They totally went out and lost communication. If that were to happen today, it would stop every bit of communication. Everything altogether. So our modern way of living would be thrown back to the dark ages too long ago. But anyway, enough about that. Apparently this is causing an intermittent G1 class geomagnetic storms. According to the NOAA forecasters, there is a 55% chance of G1 storms happening through December 19th. So that was late last night. And early this morning, it cuts off, early on the 20th. As Earth continues its passage through the stream of solar wind, the gaseous material emerges from a hole in the sun's atmosphere. You can check that video out right there by selecting the link to YouTube. I'll go ahead and copy the link so I can put it in the description below. But in the polar regions, the stream of solar wind, as I stated before, is creating an extra colorful display for Arctic sky watchers. So these are some of the images. The aurora borealis, when these highly charged particles from a CME, these coronal mass ejections, they create a beautiful reaction in our atmosphere. And in the aurora borealis, these northern lights are an amazing phenomenon to witness. I've never got to witness any personally firsthand. I would have to travel really far to witness them, but I've seen them online, on the internet and TV, and it's been really, they are a beautiful phenomenon to witness. Also, ancient biblical city of Corinth, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, destroyed by an earthquake 1,400 years ago has been uncovered in underwater excavations. Archaeologists discovered this, and this article was posted 22 hours ago under the hashtags archaeology, Bible, and Christians. You can open this link here to learn more and read the full article. It was featured in the New Testament. This city, the findings include well-preserved harbor structures dating back to the first century AD, when Romans had recolonized Corinth. The discoveries range from monuments built of 5-ton blocks to very rare, extremely well-preserved organic finds. So that is huge archaeological news, biblical news, and historical news as well. The Roman period, main harbor of ancient Corinth discovered. You can check this video out on YouTube. I don't have time to do all of that here, but there's another link, or another picture, and there's a location. The location is shown there on this map. A Greek city here in 44 BC. It was rebuilt by Roman Emperor Julius Caesar. Holds major significance for Christians, and this was written on Daily Mail. Corinth officials built the harbor towns, these two harbor towns, to take advantage of its 2-mile distance from the sea in Greece. The pair of harbors connected the ancient city to a host of Mediterranean trade networks and helped it become one of the most powerful and wealthy cities in the region. I'm going to copy this link so you can check this article out as well. And here are the images that you can see. This is one, and that's the location, and I've shown these already previously. This right here is it's an article that shows a believed future map of the United States is terrifying. It states here, conspiracy Belek, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, a map of the United States right here showing a 50 miles wide the Mississippi River and how the devastation could play out in the future. Projected areas of destruction by water from 2020 to 2025, as you can see in this map here and the link right there. And you can pause the video here to read this if you'd like. Ultimately, a flood of memories returned. Here's a video depicting the information. So you can check this link out and select these videos. And I'll copy the link to the clipboard now. And herder dies from extremely rare septicemic plague in China. Prevention methods are being imposed right now to stop eventual epidemic plague possibilities. To stop an eventual outbreak. Now, as you know here, it says the Black Death, or the plague, utterly ravaged humanity, killing between 30 and 60% of Europeans and dropping the population of the entire world in which we live by 20% by some estimates. The plague came in 3 forms. Bubonic was the most common and easiest to spot. Sufferers developed huge buboes under the armpits, on the neck, and in the groin, which grew to the size of a small apple or egg. Death often occurred less than a week after infection. Pneumonic was the second. The bubonic was the first. Sorry, there was something covering the word. That's why I wasn't pronouncing it correctly. But bubonic and then pneumonic was the second common form, infecting the lungs. It also had a mortality rate of 95%, which seems impressive. The third and rarest variety was the septicemic plague. It had a mortality rate close to 100% of those infected, and even today there is no cure for it. The only reason that the two latter examples were rare to extremely rare is because they killed so quickly that you didn't have time to pass it on before you died. On December 12, 2017, health authorities in Gansu province, have confirmed the death of a patient from septicemic plague, and strict control and prevention measures are being imposed to counter a possible outbreak of this. And you can read this information here as well. The return of this plague taking place right now. So that's not good news either. That could have proportions of, could have a devastating effect of biblical proportions or prophetic proportions. The source of immortality found in plants, or are plants immortal? You can check this out on this article here. Redwoods are an amazing tree. This tree here is aged 950 to 1,000 years old. Origin height 298 feet, current height 248 feet. Survived lightning, which removed its top, loggers, axe, and forest fire in 1908, flood of 1964. Trunk diameter is 14.5 feet. Diameter is 3 feet. Total volume board footage is 104,380. Enough to build several homes. You can check the article out here. Redwood trees are an amazing tree. They live for a very long time. And a new study has revealed an undiscovered reprogramming mechanism that allows plants to maintain fitness down the generations and thus remain, quote-unquote, immortal. These trees are amazing, and they grow very large. Vehicles can pass through them, and they look like an ant compared to the tree. You look like a small pebble in comparison to these trees. But understanding how this naturally occurs during plant development is the first step in understanding how specific genes can be targeted by this epigenetic modification and hence regulated. So that's a pretty interesting article anyway, and how the DNA, which changes, and how the genetic sequences work within these plants, and what continues to keep them to remain so young and to live for so long of periods of time. So that's what they're studying right now, is the genetics and the genetic information of these plants. So that's all of the interesting or strange news that I have for this video. I'll be back when there's more news on this Twitter page to share, or other news I find worthy of sharing. So much love to you all, peace, and I hope to speak with you again very soon. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you have. Thank you so much. Leave comments in the comments section below. Anything you'd like to share of kindness, feel free to do so. Much love. Bye.